there was a young maiden who lived in a small kingdom with her stepmother and two stepsisters. She was treated very cruelly. Her stepmother and stepsisters were very jealous of her natural charm and beauty, and so they forced her to become a servant in her own household. She worked all day, cooking and cleaning and sewing. One day, a messenger arrived with a special invitation. The prince, who was searching for a bride, had invited every eligible woman in the kingdom to a royal ball at the palace. But the young and hopeful maiden was not allowed to go. She was forced to stay home and finish her chores. After her stepsisters and stepmother had left for the ball, the young maiden was met by her fairy godmother. The magical godmother turned the young girl's dirty rags into a beautiful gown and sent her off to the palace in a magnificent carriage. Now, I've purposefully left out specific names and places, but I can almost guarantee that all of us are anticipating the same ending. We are all waiting for that one iconic line, and they lived happily ever after. The classic Cinderella story is ingrained in American culture. In fact, it seems all the Disney princesses have become their own category of cultural icons. So what is it about these stories that makes them so captivating and timeless across generations? Well, I think the answer is actually very simple. Nearly every Disney princess story is also an underdog story. Think about it. Cinderella was the ultimate underdog. She began as an ill-treated and unloved servant girl, and by the end of the story, she becomes the queen of an entire kingdom. What if the author had changed the ending? What if Cinderella ran from the prince at midnight, left her glass slipper, but never saw the prince again? Or worse yet, what if the prince had chosen one of her awful stepsisters? I'm not sure about you, but I would hate that version of the story because the underdog did not prevail. As byproducts of the American culture, we are all hardwired to root for the underdog. But it's not just Disney princesses. There's a reason we praise David for killing Goliath, a reason we root for Katniss and Peeta in the arena, and we were all rooting for Loyola and Sister Jean in the 2018 March Madness basketball tournament, even though they were nowhere on our brackets. There's a reason we feel happiness when the little engine says, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can, and then he does. A reason we idolize Rocky Balboa, and a reason why Harry Potter has become one of the most popular book series of all time. These figures, whether fictional or real, are all essentially underdogs at their core. According to Merriam-Webster, the definition of an underdog is one, a loser or predicted loser in a contest or struggle, or two, the victim of injustice or persecution. And with that second definition, it dawned on me that the United States is actually a nation of underdogs when you think about it. Our nation's history is actually one underdog story after another, and it all began with the American colonists. 2 centuries ago, it seemed impossible that the undersupplied and unskilled colonists could defeat the massive military power that was Great Britain. They did, and our nation was founded on July 4th, 1776. In the 1860s and 70s, an author by the name of Horatio Alger popularized the iconic rags to riches theme by writing over 100 volumes of fiction. And in almost all of his stories, he wrote about a poor boy who was new to the city, who through virtue, hard work, and bravery was able to achieve success. In the early 1900s, we had an inrush of immigrants who allowed the country to become the melting pot of diversity that it still is today. And all of these immigrants, all of these people were desperately hoping to create something out of absolutely nothing, so as to achieve the quote-unquote American dream. And then in the 20th century, we had women and African Americans who took a stand against American cultural norms to fight for their right to equality. Some of this change, this social change, is still going on today. And whether you realize it or not, we all are still adding to that story of underdogs, because many of us face our own underdog moments every single day. At some point in our lives, we have all taken tests on subjects we don't really understand. We have all faced the better team. And some of us might feel that you were born on first base and you have to work twice as hard to catch up to the kids who were lucky enough to be born on third. Maybe for some of you, that realization is disappointing. Maybe for you, underdog has a negative connotation. Remember that definition? Merriam-Webster called an underdog a loser. I get it. Nobody wants to be a loser. But that's not how I see it. In fact, I believe it's the exact opposite. I believe that the ability to embrace our underdog moments is extremely important. Recently, I was visiting Northwestern University in Chicago, Illinois, and while I was at school prestigious, I loved it, but my chances of getting in are slim to none, and if by a miracle I did get in, I would be drowning in schoolwork for the next 4 years of my life. I expressed that concern to my mom, who was there with me, and she posed a really thoughtful question in response. She said, "Abby, this is probably a question you should answer for yourself now. Do you want to be the top of the pack at your safety school, or are you willing to struggle and be at the bottom of the pack at your stretch school?" And I've been thinking about my answer to that question ever since. Maybe this is a question you all have asked yourselves as you explore the colleges on your list. Are you going to settle and apply to a school where you know for certain you are going to succeed? You may not be challenged, but you're going to succeed. Or are you going to push yourself? Are you going to apply to a school where you are absolutely, without a doubt, the underdog? Where all the other students that go to this school are beyond brilliant, and you will have to work hard every single day just to keep up. Maybe you see it like this. Maybe you can be here or there. They're equal. Maybe they're equal to you. But this is how I see it. There's a big difference there. There are so many times in our life when we will have to decide for ourselves. Will we be the big fish in a small pond, or the small fish in a big pond? I encourage you all to be the small fish, to embrace the moments in your life when you are undeniably the underdog. Because in every underdog moment, there are 3 things that will always make you stronger. Number 1, the doubt of the audience. I don't know about you all, but ever since I was young, I've found this satisfaction in proving people wrong. When someone told me I couldn't do something, I would do everything in my power to show them that I could. And underdogs face this same doubt. Nobody expects them to succeed. Use that doubt as motivation. Allow that burning desire to prove your doubters wrong, push you to reach goals that you never thought you could achieve otherwise. Number 2, your challenger. As an underdog, you are surrounded by people that are supposedly better than you. People that are smarter than you, more athletic than you, or more successful than you. Let these people encourage and inspire you. Consider these people as examples. Learn from them, and allow them to set a bar so that you may rise to the occasion. And 3, the freedom of knowing you have nothing to lose. There is something so freeing in low expectations. If you succeed, then that's awesome. But if you fail, then who cares? Because nobody was expecting you to succeed anyway. So take a risk. Even if you think you may fail, try anyway. Go all in. Don't settle. Because in the end, you have nothing to lose. Thank you.